Welcome to Strategic Insights Podcast. I'm your moderator, Andrew Makl. I have some exciting podcast today. Today is going to be a partner and product spotlight. Rarely do we get to put those both together, but it's going to be the tone for the day. The partnership is with FUUZ as well as the product. And today I am joined by Tim Rabaut, my Senior Vice President of Customer Engagement, as well as Craig Scott. He is the founder and CEO of FUUZ. Welcome, Craig.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew.
Why don't you give a little background on yourself, Craig, on how you're in the industry and where you came from, and of course how FUUZ is today.
Yeah, absolutely. So prior to getting into software, I spent about 2 decades in manufacturing. So I'm actually a manufacturing engineer, which most people don't think of when they talk to me about purchasing my platform, right? So kind of unique in that space. Really learned a lot being on the shop floor, understanding how manufacturers needed to leverage technology to better themselves, to make more money, improve their bottom line. After all, that's where the money is made, not in the back office. So really focused on that, got into implementing ERP solutions, had a consulting firm, which really helped me kind of get things off the ground as far as FUUZ is concerned. So as an industrial platform, sort of how we refer to FUUZ, right? So we handle everything from low-no code solutions for our customers to IoT, IIoT, MES, quality management, warehouse management. So if you think of the platform almost like a smartphone type technology where you can install different apps, right? But the platform also enables guys like Tim to build their own apps or our customers, right? So it's really extensible and flexible, which is really what's lacking, I think, today in the manufacturing space.
So, I do think you hit on a lot of buzzwords there that we've had probably 5 podcasts today on alone, but our industry trends, right? Low code, no code, and as well as those metrics that a lot of times you're not going to get just out of a basic ERP solution, right? So you're going to get the MES, you're going to get the WMS, you're going to get any type of quality solution that you can add on as part of the extensibility of your product. But as we get into the nuances of it, what products have you been tied to traditionally? And, as we look right now, we know you're expanding into the QAD space. Where did you start and where are we looking to go? Because it sounds like you're agnostic with who you work with.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's one of our strengths, right? As being an agnostic platform, we have our own middleware, iPaaS capability. So it really doesn't matter to us. Our customers, as far as ERP solutions that they're using, range from SAP to Oracle, NetSuite, QAD, Infor, Acumatica, QuickBooks, Plex. There's probably some others I'm forgetting, right? But that extensibility feature really allows us to bolt onto anything that we need to. And the comment you made about ERP versus MES and WMS, I mean that's true. Too many times we find manufacturers are out there looking for that one throat to choke. Which just kind of puts them in a box, right? And then over time, they outgrow that solution. It's hard to pull that investment out, right? You've sunk all this time and energy into deploying this thing that no longer fits your business, and that's where FUUZ comes in.
Nice, because we're all long enough in the tooth, and we saw the curve, right? So in about 2000, everybody's trying to get business solutions. 2010, everybody wants one product to do everything. Then all of a sudden, we're back to doing, hey, can it integrate with best of breed? Because we realized that I'm not going out for a restaurant and ordering a totally different classification of food. And it was a system problem, right? Yep. Everybody was like, well, I have a quality solution, but is it a quality solution? So I think the market for FUUZ, and especially with the low code, no code, is going to be very interesting. Can you get into a little bit of how FUUZ comes to marketplace for WMS?
Yeah, from a warehouse management standpoint, we can do that standalone. I would say 100% of our MES customers will leverage the warehouse management functionality, right? We talk about license plating, bin tracking, put away, movements, just general inventory tracking, keeping all of that detailed and granular transactional data in the WMS or MES solution, keeping it out of the ERP is a huge strategic benefit for our customers. As you guys know, there's licensing implications, there's performance implications on the ERP side. People just don't realize that. So, typically a mid-market manufacturer might process 10 to 15,000 transactions a month in their ERP. Statistically, they're doing about 5 million transactions monthly in our MES solution. So it gives you a good sense of just how much is happening on the shop floor.
Yeah, that transactional overhead is a burden to the business if they don't have a solution such as yours to take care of that and separate it from their financial package, for the lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Well, it's a perfect marriage, right, between MES and WMS.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not just making product. You have to store it, ship
know
it.
where it's at.
You have to know where it's at.
Where to come from. Right.
And if you don't have that connected, you're then relying on integration to the ERP on that side of it. And a lot of times it doesn't have the functionality that it needs. And now you're looking for another solution anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we talk about the mid-market, which is a lot of times a problem area because people have budget restrictions, or they have infrastructure restrictions, or they have product restrictions. I can go on restriction. Yeah. How does your product align? How does FUUZ align with small, mid-market, and large companies? Because it sounds like you have the ability to really support them as they grow.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we are a SaaS solution, right? So oftentimes when we're talking to a prospect, they're misled by other solutions in the marketplace because you have to buy the software. You have to then provide the infrastructure to support that software. With FUUZ, we're a multi-enterprise SaaS solution. So literally all you do is sign up, get access, log in, and start getting value from the software day one. There's no real deployment process per se, right? We don't need to set up servers. You're not installing server farms or data centers to run this thing like you do with pretty much all of our competitors. So it really gives you a huge advantage. You're deploying faster. You're getting value out of the solution much quicker. So what it does for mid-market and even the lower end of the spectrum is it's a much more cost-effective solution, right? Because we're multi-tenant cloud, we're able to spread the cost of this solution over many more customers versus like an isolated installation.
So, the time to benefit is a lot of times what we hear in small companies, right? They don't have the ability to waste the time, and they don't have the ability to spend the money without having some type of benefit return. And it sounds like one of your biggest values is how fast they can actually utilize the solution and start taking that transactional overhead off the ERP, or start seeing the benefits of understanding where their products are, having executable information for your shop floor, and really getting the value out of where you said originally, who makes the money in the organization, right? So you're letting those that make the money do it for the organization. Then you're giving that data back to the financial solution through your integration point to just what they needed to do to process, send invoices, so on and so forth.
Yep.
So what brought us together? So this is a very interesting story. So as we look at ourselves as a strategic information group, we realize that we are a enterprise solution organization and business solution organization, and we always like to align ourselves with companies that have like goals, values, and understanding of how we want to operate business, as well as deliver to the customer. And when we ran across each other in passing, which I remember, I don't have the full story in my brain right now on how we did the initial conversation, but the amount that we've had till then, it's been a really quick journey on how fast we saw synergies in regards to, we understand a lot of our customers have problems and pain points that you, of course, have been addressing. And as we made the transition in our business to supporting another ERP solution, we realized you were already there and how well you were doing in that. So it was just one of those common denominators for us to involve Tim, who leads our team in regards to intellectual property, third-party products, and partners, and said, hey, we got to take a really good look at FUUZ and see if this is a legitimate opportunity for us in the QAD space, as well as just our companies as a whole. I mean, the end goal, I like to have a portfolio of products to offer a customer, and I don't want to have to offer a different one for every single ERP that we support or that's out there, because a lot of my customers have a multiple ERP process or methodology. So they have 3 ERPs across 40 sites. What's the one product I can offer? And I think that's really where the conversation started. And then it went into the platform side of business. And that's where I think, Tim, you took over the reins and I stepped back.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this partnership, for that reason. But it's really 2 aspects. FUUZ brings standard applications that they delivered, right, that are proven in the industry for MES, WMS. So we can take those and we can sell those into our client base, right? And again, we're trying to offer options and solutions to our customers. But almost as important is the underlying platform that Craig talked about. QAD is on an ERP journey themselves, and they're moving into a SaaS environment. So all these applications that we've written and other partners in that space have done need to be replaced, and they need to be brought into that modern platform so that we don't disrupt the benefits of SaaS, easy upgradability, all those things that we've talked about. So this is going to give us 2 avenues. We can develop those apps, offer them into the multiple ERPs that we represent, and also sell those standard solutions.
So as we look at that, there's we support SMB as well as enterprise level of customers, and so we see an opportunity in the SMB space, specifically a lot of our life science customers and high profitability that need really good MES as well as warehouse management. Because a lot of times these customers in life science might have controlled warehouses that are refrigerated, for example, and every area of the refrigeration unit's a different temperature, and that product has to sit and set. And there's some benefits we really see you bring there. But then our mid-market customers, you basically cover the gamut, because when we go into conversations, and I think I've heard you say this before, and it's my favorite one when someone says, I need an MES solution. What's your definition of MES, right? What's your definition of WMS?
Right.
And I think that's really where we start separating where FUUZ is a leader and needs to be really promoted as that in the industry and what it can bring to the table. Because a lot of times people just remember the names of the products that have been promoted by those that have the biggest marketing budgets. And then they get confined into, this is exactly what the solution does. Here are the 4 walls you have to work within, and it's restrictive.
Yep.
And that's the polar opposite of what you guys do to bring to the table.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's all about flexibility and extensibility. And I think in the industrial space, agility, right? Companies are growing, a lot of M&A happening, right? And as you pointed out, a lot of our clients, especially in the enterprise space, have multitude of different systems, some of which, they're happy to replace, some of which they're not. These might be homegrown or commercially purchased. And that's really where FUUZ shines, is being that central hub, that unified platform to bring everything together for them.
The interesting part to me is we just had a meeting this week with a customer, and they were like, we don't know what our future path is, what's going to be with our ERP, but we don't want to have to replace what we're doing on the shop floor or what we're doing with certain parts of our business. And it's just another area where FUUZ is a highlighted product, because you can sit there and go, listen, no matter what direction you do after the 4 ERP systems you run, this is going with you.
Yeah.
Right. And not disrupting where it makes you money, how you get, but let's be honest, you have to build, you have to ship, you have to invoice, right? So if you can handle the parts that are inside those 4 walls, the rest of it you can figure out later.
Well, Craig made a great point earlier in the podcast about how their solutions are affordable inside the mid-market and small space, right? And that's a really important point, because it's another misconception about those solutions. Those same clients that are going out to the larger players already have in their mind that they can't afford MES, they can't afford WMS. And this solution changes that paradigm. And that's the bulk of our install base, right, Andrew?
It is. It very much is a bulk of our install base. And I think that mid-market is going to really resonate, because as we all know, that there's always life cycles of software products. But almost nobody wants to go out and talk to your 30-year employee that's cranking out parts and change their life because of what the culture is going to be to your organization. On that, I want to break it a little bit more on the MES piece. And what's some differentiators for FUUZ when people are like, hey, why should I think of FUUZ for MES and WMS? Like, what's the differentiators for you that like to hang your hat on when someone asks, you might not understand what MES is, but here are some things that we really help you with?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, right? So, we'll get involved into processes where folks are looking to just capture data off of machines, right? We call it production monitoring, or, we've got some sensors we want to track, we want to measure, and they may think that's MES, right? And then on the flip side, there's folks that are interested in, addressing compliance-related issues, whether it's food or aerospace, pharmaceutical, life sciences, whatever it is. So they're looking for, limbs or something different, right? At the end of the day, like you said, everybody buys it, makes it, and ships it. They all do the same thing. How the sausage is made may be a little bit different. And I think that's where FUUZ provides the value, because we give you the ability to make the sausage the way you want to produce the sausage, but you're selling it the same everybody else does. Right. So that flexibility, whether you want to connect to your machines or not, whether you want to use the WMS or not, whether you want to do EDI or not, whether you're looking for just a digital shop floor work instruction solution, right? There's all these different point solutions out there that are available to all these different companies. All they're really trying to do is solve that problem that they can identify today, which, as we all know, is the biggest risk in any software deployment, right? I've got one problem and I want to solve that. And then next week it's a different problem. So it's a different software solution. And that's where FUUZ comes in. Because not only can, as Tim pointed out, you can use our off-the-shelf apps, but you can build and extend your own, right? So for those line of business type issues, whether it's in procurement, building a cost model to support your metal market surcharging, or whether it's a retro pricing application or an inventory acknowledgement, whatever it is, you can build it in FUUZ 7 to 10 times faster, according to our customers, than what they've been able to do with any other product. So that keeps you up and running. It keeps you from having to continually go through the evaluation process, deployment process, learning, training curves on different solutions. Really reduces your application footprint. CIOs probably love that. So no longer do you have 40 or 50 different things that you're managing licenses for. It's one solution. So we're actually getting back to that concept of the one throat to choke, but it's the Swiss Army knife.
You're doing it because of the flexibility, right?
Yeah,
You're eliminating
100%.
And as many times as I've had someone in my career already reach back out to me every 3 years to change, constantly adding a product for a problem that probably could be solved with, taking the extensibility of your product and running with it, or creating the app with it, which is of course why we're very excited for it, which I'll let Tim touch on. It is interesting to me that every time we solve the one problem, they forget about what that problem causes, whether that's downstream or upstream. So
It's
a lot
like
of times
whack-a-mole.
it is whack-a-mole. And that's where assessments and things that we like to bring together with our expertise and yours to solve on, hey, why you should or shouldn't do this. But at the end of the day, you are allowing people to be a unicorn, because everybody thinks they are one, right? They're always unique. It's getting manufactured, it's going out the door. But it allows them to have the flexibility to at least keep their individuality and how they operate to create that task and keep people engaged.
Most clients are used to customization world, right? And being able to extend without customizing. So it's upgradable, right?
Yeah.
That's the big reason why a lot of people are coming back to that one throat to choke, right? It started out that way, but then they realized to get there, we had to customize the system, right?
Right.
So that went away. We need to find standard solutions, but the technology wasn't really there to support it, right?
No, that's right. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely aspects of the FUUZ platform that the technology was not available when we started developing it, right? Back in 2015, it just wasn't there. So there was a time period that we were sort of locked in a box and had to wait for the technology to become available. So, it really is the only multi-tenant, cloud-first industrial platform. Everyone else is single tenant. So you're back to customization, right? 100% of our customers are running the same code version of FUUZ. Nobody else can say that.
Yeah, and that plays very well into the future state of QAD ERP03 as well as NetSuite, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody wants to deal with those costly upgrades that break everything or put you on an island, right? And then you've got Bob in the closet. He's the only guy that knows how that thing works.
Right. I just met Bob last week,
Yeah,
by the way.
we know a lot of Bobs.
He's quite concerned about the upgrade.
Yeah. I mean, that's where people frown on, customization, right? They've been burned in the past. So yeah, that's the way the platform was designed specifically to address those concerns for our customers and give them a path to be flexible and nimble, but not lock them in.
I'm sure you're seeing the benefits of support, right? You're all running the same version. Your team understands said version. There's no calling in and having to wait to be routed to somebody that understands the version you're running from 4 years ago, which we have all been there and done that. Yeah. So since it is the direction of pretty much every major market ERP and you're already there, this is an easy way for people to address the concern in the four walls of their business right away and then figure out who's going to be the driving force that you tie that to.
Yeah. And for our partners too, right? For you guys, I mean, that's one thing to learn. It's one thing to support. It's beautiful. And we're cloud first, right? So you're not dealing with legacy knowledge or expertise.
Can you give us a little bit of a story or example of how you've helped the customer with the solution that comes up that might resonate with people listening today? Say, hey, why should I really look at FUUZ to take care of these needs for us? Because I'm sure you've got a number of people that you've helped.
Yeah, I mean, to pick one is a little bit challenging. I can I can kind of summarize, right, or generalize that, 100% of our customers, right, it goes back to that flexibility and extensibility. In particular in the enterprise space, the risk to the business of homegrown software, right, or customized ERP is really just tremendous these days, right? You look at, all of the concerns around cybersecurity, right? We all know what just happened recently with, we won't name names, but these are just enormous risks that no company is insulated from. And I think that's the biggest value, whether my customer built an app specific to EDI or warehouse management or, some kind of special algorithm, right? Secret sauce, whatever the application was, I think is less important than the value they got out of the platform itself. And its ability to provide that security, reliability, that always on 24/7 support, that always supported because you're on the same version. So just that the ability for our customer's IT team to go home and be able to sleep at night, knowing that the system will be there, it will be running, and it is secure. You don't have that with other technology.
No, you have a lot of the people we deal with worried about that 3 a.m. phone call.
Yeah.
So,
especially in manufacturing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we're excited about the partnership and the next steps for us in this evolution. Tim, thank you for joining us today. Craig, thank you for bringing us to forward. Thank you for making this partnership work. We look forward to the next steps. But thank you for your time, gentlemen, and look forward to talking to you in the future.
Yeah.
Thank you.